Welcome everybody to a new series. Today we're going to be playing Subway Builder. I have no idea when this is going to come out or anything like that. I just have been really enjoying this game recently, and essentially what it is you have all these different cities to choose from, and you get to basically build a subway system like throughout the city, and you try to build efficient subway systems, and it's just kind of a fun, very relaxed, like chill game. And first, I think we just need to figure out where we want to build. So obviously, there are some major cities in here. I have played a few before. I don't necessarily want to do New York because they have a pretty major system at the moment. I could definitely do Chicago. I know San Francisco has one already. Boston could be kind of fun, but I kind of want to do a city. I don't know. I have no idea. Let's here, I'm gonna randomly choose a number between, well, oh, and you can see the number of people that are here, which I think is it's interesting. You know what? Let's Detroit has 4.4, Minneapolis has 3.7, 0.3 here. I wonder if what I do, Cleveland and then St. Louis. Interesting. Really struggling here. What if we did San Francisco? Let's do San Francisco. And then what we can do is we can either pick normal mode or sandbox. Normal basically gives you money, and I think we're gonna do that just so that way it's not totally, infinite cash. But this is obviously gonna be very different than my Pokemon series that I've been doing. We're just gonna have to see kind of how long. I don't know when this is gonna come out. I'm obviously recording it right now, but this game works. So you've got now you can see downtown San Francisco. Obviously the bridge is being a little funky, and you can turn it back into 2D as well. And what's going to essentially happen, or the way this works, is that I hit play, so the game is like running essentially, and I'm going fast. So I think each day is 5 minutes on this fastest one. I'm hoping the quality as well of the recording is okay. But essentially what we will be able to do here is show what they call demand statistics. And it shows, okay, so right now this is showing where everyone lives, and then what you can do is click on workers here, and this shows where people work, and it obviously makes sense that people work downtown. And if you scroll out a little bit, there's obviously some over there in Oakland. I believe this is downtown Oakland. I'm not super familiar with the Bay Area. That's obviously the airport right there. And then I think when you get down here, this is Anaheim and Silicon Valley. However, I'm a little surprised that there's not more people that live down here. So if you look at residents, obviously a ton of people live throughout this corridor, and people live here. So I think what we need to do first is we'll probably connect these. The other thing you can do is click on these dots and see where people actually live. So what this is saying is that people who work there are actually living like down here. So this says someone works here, and then their home base is here. So if we were to put a subway between those two, they would most likely take it. So that's probably how we'll kind of start. Now, I don't know how expensive this thing is going to be. It is only 8:30 in the morning as well. Sometimes I let this go for like a day, but I think I could probably go ahead and just build this to start. So I think no matter what, we should probably build one. I mean, definitely downtown. It's not a perfect system in the sense that it doesn't necessarily know everything and like all of the stops, but I think if we built one that kind of went here to here and then probably headed a little further south, and then we could probably switch potentially one over here as well, which might wrap up north. We can kind of cross that bridge once we get there, or make a little light rail type of thing that comes in. But I think first, let's focus on where all these hubs are. So what we'll do is let's build a track. So we go in here, and when you build tracks, you can either build the heavy metro, which is going to be similar to like New York, and then the light metro, which this says it's more similar to Montreal. Now, I've never been to Montreal, so I'm not entirely sure, but they basically have like 400 people, I think, per car, whereas the heavy metro, I believe, is, let's see if we can cover this up here, show the details. It is, yeah, right here, so 1,200 people per car, so definitely bigger. That does mean it's a little more expensive, but that's just kind of part of it. Okay, so let's go back to the demand statistics. I want to get something that is on both sides of these, and it looks like right here is probably the best. I don't know where the BART actually comes in San Francisco, but I think this will be perfectly fine. So let's build a station. I think actually here, actually I don't know which building it is. Oh, this is, I think, okay, that's that park. That's right. Yeah, I have been to San Francisco once. But I'm not super familiar. Okay, so we'll start there, and then we'll build another one here. I think probably here is fine. So let's pull back up the demand stats, and let's look. So actually, maybe we just move this thing a little bit further, or put another one further down here, and then maybe we start wrapping it south. So, and then the other thing I've learned through playing this game is if you can kind of navigate around different things to make items a little bit cheaper. So if we build this right there, that looks like Market Street, which I think these are all probably Market. Okay, McAllister Street, Market Street. Let's build this one down here. And I think we might just start with that. So now I need to build tracks. And here we're going to basically just cut right into here. And then I think I could probably just connect that. Perfect. Now this one is pretty straight. Same with this one. All right, and then the final thing we need to do is build the crossover points, and this basically allows trains to come in and out. I don't know actually if you need to, you definitely need to put them on the end routes. I don't know if you need to put them on all the front routes actually. Actually, I don't know if you do. Okay, so then this will, if we build this right now, it's going to cost us $548 million. So we'll go ahead and build that. Now, to get an actual train running, we need to go new routes, and we'll figure out what our color is going to be. I guess we can do the A route is fine. Not the one route. Let's go A. I like naming mine with colors or letters. We've got a route named, and then what we'll do is we need to add the stations. So we can go in here, and I think because I have a carryover, yeah, so right now this will go between Pine down here, Guerrero, and then Market and McAllister will be in between. Okay, so we'll confirm changes, and then trains. I don't know if I have any trains right now, to be honest. Actually, all these are working. Okay, so 14 minutes. So this is saying that if I run this, can I add any more? I think we need to buy more. Yeah, let's just buy more. Okay, so that's 15-minute demand. We'll go to, and I think we can just start running. And sometimes there's a little bit of a weird thing where, okay, no, it actually is running. It's running right there. You can see it. So right there, we'll just cancel the edit. Okay, so right here you can see it running. It's a little slow just based on this. It is the middle of the night. But then now these little dots, these are people, or like population centers is what they're calling them. So now you can see it's picking them up and moving them all to where they need to go. Now, if we go in here, we are able to see like how the train operates based in, so it's midnight right now. It's going at 1 o'clock. There's only one train running. And obviously there's a little less demand here in the middle of the night. Yeah, and you can see here there's not too many people going, but some of that changes like as the train has been going a little longer. So we'll let this run, I think, for just a little bit, and we'll just let this gather people, and we'll see how it does in the middle of the day, and we'll watch its kind of profit go as the day continues. Right now it's still just 2:30 in the morning, so obviously this is gonna drastically change as we get, and actually we were profitable at the beginning of the day, which is interesting. We're also profitable at 4 in the morning, which is really great. Usually it doesn't work that way. So we'll let this run throughout the day, and then we'll just come back, I think, at the end just to see kind of how we're doing. Okay, and actually I'm cutting back in right here in the middle of this. This is doing extremely well. So if we look at this is our operating profit. I mean, we're, for the first day, what's our profit right here? So $15 million in profit right now. Now, obviously the day is not over, and we're going to run in the middle of the night, but that rush hour really was good for us. So what we can also do, if you go into routes, route rider, actually not route ridership, station ridership. So you can do this and then also see like where people are going to work. So obviously that makes sense. And then a ton of people coming from home down here. So I think what we could probably do is twofold. So one, we could try to get another train. Either we could extend the line or bring another, I mean, we could definitely bring another route like in here, or another station actually, like cutting over this way, because there are, I believe, still a ton of people over here, obviously, a ton of people over here, or we could just extend it even further down into the bay, or down further down the peninsula. Again, if we look at workers, there's still a ton of people here that are working. They're coming from all over there. I think extending usually, in my experience, is the best. See, those people are taking big trains. So blue means they're basically commuters. Green are walking people, so it makes sense that all those people are walking because they're around. But blue, these are people by stations, so like that makes sense. Now, I think if we extended this, we could pick up a decent number of folks down here. Obviously, there's a big thing. Now we just need to figure out the best way to get down here. It's 4 p.m. too. just tons of profit. That's a lot of money. I've played this game a couple times, and obviously there's a high concentration of people that live here, so that kind of makes sense. Okay, so let's bring this down, and I think potentially what I'll do is I can either... Okay, so I need to remember right. So the way... I think what I probably need to do is get over to the highway, because if you build, you can bury tracks deep, so you can change like how you build your tracks, but once you go higher, they get more expensive. So if I were to go here, all of those would have to get like bulldozed, which would cost a lot of money. However, I think if I even go lower, yeah, it does. Actually, it still does that. Okay, but there's a thing in here where you can look to see minimum tunnel depth, and this will show you... Weird, I guess you really do have to... But like here, it's actually getting lower, so that actually makes sense. So if you were to like go there, so you could do a quick one and then dig lower, but now you're at double the cost for this, so that's probably not going to work. However, can I go 10? I don't remember if 10 is... So 10 is the same price, but I think you still have to bulldoze if you're going to go 10. Yeah, you do. So not a whole lot we can really do there, unless we want to kind of like navigate around to stay on the highway. And that's kind of what I was saying before of it's not a perfect system, like the AI of it. Or I could go down here and try to get these workers kind of in this area. Now what that would do is that later on I could build another route that goes maybe on this east side over here. So maybe that's what I do. Okay, so let's build a station then. And we'll build one, well, probably right here. We'll just go 2 more stations. So this will be 1 on San Jose Ave, and that'll connect up there. I'll deal with that. And then I'll probably build the other one just right here on the highway. I'll probably follow the highway. Okay, so now let's build the tracks. Now the one thing we are going to have to deal with is building in crossovers, because I didn't initially have a crossover in the first section, so we'll definitely need to do that. Okay, so that'll be a slower one, and that's fine. So then this one will actually just go... Oh shoot, you know what? I am on -10, so let's actually undo all these. So I need to just go -5 meters here, because that's what this guy is. So let's go up to -5. It's the same cost, but I like to keep them all relatively consistent on the price or the level. That way when you start getting crossing, or you start crossing like tracks. Oh, that's a track section. Shoot, I wanted a station. But when you start crossing tracks, that way you can be consistent across the entire route. Okay, so that's there. And then maybe we do this other one just right here. Alright, so to build the tracks. This track, it kind of does this auto curve based on how you have things set up. So you got to be a little careful here. Like if I snap this into place. Okay, so it actually built that curve, and it's because it maximizes, I think, the speed in which you would potentially, like the subway will go. So right there, it says 89 kilometers per hour, which obviously keeps you going fast. But like here, this curve, kind of want to keep this pretty straight for this section, which is going to be a little tough because I've kind of come a little too much. So let's try to just straighten this out. So I'll move it a little right. There we go. Okay, so now here, now that's a pretty straight route. All these connections are okay, but okay, so let's add a crossover. Actually, I do need to add a crossover here. And then I guess I technically don't need to add one right there. But I will add one here because this will be my end for now. This might get me in trouble later, but that's what we're gonna deal with. Okay, so that right there, that was 300 million-ish. So now what we'll need to do is modify the route to make it go essentially the entire way. So we'll add that there, add these two, and then this should automatically then, yeah, so it'll go Pine to Staples, which is right down there. And then the only other thing, oh, okay, so that's a 7-minute frequency. That's still not that bad. So we'll actually probably just keep that. Okay, so that didn't take, actually. Why did that not take? Confirm changes. Okay, so it's still going. Okay, there it goes. So now it's pulling all the way to the end here. You can see this. Yeah, you can see them coming from there. Now the other thing you can do, this is kind of nice, is if you click on one of these trains, you can actually follow the train. So it'll like watch it as it picks up people. I'm going a little slow here, so we can speed this up one more. Now it goes to Market, then McAllister, then finally Pine Street, and then it'll reverse and now go back down the entire way. And then actually you can see their departure and arrival times there. Which, great. Okay, so we're only on day 3. So I think what I might do is probably let this just run for a bit. I know I said that earlier, but that's the best way to kind of figure out how your profit and everything is doing. Now, I have a pretty good profit, and I didn't need to actually change any sort of route, so we can actually wait and just see how this hourly demand is doing. And this is actually super good because I'm making a ton of money there. Wow. So I'll speed this up and I'll actually let this just sit for a bit, and then we'll get a few kind of days, we'll get more money, and then we'll really figure out kind of where we want to go, because I would imagine we either want to I mean, heck, we could actually make the like an Oakland line as well, because this is downtown Oakland, I believe. And I've never been to Oakland. I've been to San Francisco. But if we look here, okay, so those are all residents. Here's our workers. Okay, so this is downtown Oakland. So maybe later we deal with this. I could also build like a light rail over here, or some sort of like at grade or even above grade thing. But I kind of actually, I might just want to stay over here. Really wish I really wish these things kind of stayed as you like zoomed in and out. Okay, so again, let's go demand stats. Let's look to see, like, there's all sorts of these people over here. So I wonder if I have a line down there. Yeah, like these people are riding. So I think I definitely need to probably build over this way. I don't know if I would make a connection. I could probably make another Pine Street down here, and or what I do is do this, and then I could build back in, like, connect the trains. I'm pretty sure I could do that, and then that way I could just kind of follow this this street. So that might be my next one that I do. But we'll let's actually go and let's see if this can. Oh, a little laggy there. This game I found it is a little laggy. I don't know if that's just because it's like the beta right now, so hopefully that's looking okay. And we'll just let it kind of do its thing as these go. So I'll come back in a bit, and hopefully everything is still running. Alright, so I'm jumping back in it, but it actually hasn't been that long, and I actually went away for a bit. But this is doing very well. So I'm looking at, if we go to daily here, my operating profit, and it's only, I don't even know what time it is, I can't see. It's, okay, so it's 5 o'clock in the evening, it looks like, almost 6. And my profit's still doing pretty good. It's not quite up to what it was yesterday, but that's it's okay. So if we look at our hourly time, I mean, we're profitable literally at every single time, just based on the numbers that we got for the trains that we have running. So I think what I am going to do is exactly what I talked about last time, where I build a station that essentially goes all the way down here. So there'll be one over here, and I think it'll kind of follow this road up here. And then I think I might just connect it in here. Then what I think ultimately I'll end up doing as well is making one that goes basically down here and will loop around through this Pine Street one, which that's going to be a little tricky based on just the way the streets work out to stay within the streets, and then I'll try to loop it down, and then we'll basically have like parallel lines running that way, and then eventually I think we'll have one that cuts down here. But first, I think we could build one that goes this way, because again, if we're looking at our operating profit here for daily, I mean, we're getting $56 million every day right now. I mean, if this continues, yeah, so it's a new day right at the moment. So I think expanding it, and what that will also do is then if we go demand stats here again, we got all sorts of workers down here, and it still just expands all that. So if we look at this guy, like they're all working. Yeah, like that person would take the train. So I think that's how we're gonna do that here. Okay, so let's start then. I think at the end of it is probably the best way to do this. So we need to build a track. Now, the other thing that we need... Actually, this one could probably be at the same grade. So why don't we actually start a little bit over here? Why do I have a warning? What is this saying? One train near capacity. Okay, so I wonder if I need to... Well, maybe I think about that later. Okay, let's go back. So let's think about how we're going to bring this in. I think if we go here, if we build a station here, it'll, I think, be enough to, well, here, let's build it straight on with this guy. Just make it a little more center. Now if we build this track, so this is something I've actually never done here, is connected tracks straight like this. So it's going to be a little bit of a learning curve. Okay, so that's, I made this a little uneven actually. So let's zoom back out and then let's undo this. And okay, so we'll go back to the build station. And why don't I just move it one block forward, just that way I can line up with the street a little bit better. Guess that looks probably fine. We'll see what happens here when I start to build these tracks. Seems straighter to me, just based on how that looks. Okay, so I think I'm able to just run this in, and it does do a little bit. Okay, one near capacity. Oh, I am at like 7 o'clock in the morning. Okay, so I should probably extend it, to be honest. Let's see how. Okay, so that will, I think, just build right in there. It looks like that did it. Okay, let's look at these tracks though. Okay, yeah, that's big. So we're right at 9 in the morning. I should probably, let's look at our routes. I'm gonna need to buy more trains. I think I do. Yeah, because I'm running out. Okay, so let's buy more. We're also gonna need to buy more anyway for that. So let's go ahead and just buy 15, because this is extremely popular. So if we go, okay, that's every 8 minutes, that's every 12, so that's probably okay. I'll come back and look at the load demand here in a sec, after we build this. But I think this is a good starting point, and that'll just filter into that station. Okay, so then now, I think what I need to do then is we'll go back here, and we'll build another station, and we'll put that one, I don't know, right around here. I have no idea what this is actually like in San Francisco. How will this one work for me? It looks like it will. Okay, nice. So that works. And then let's build another one all the way at the end here. Sweet. And then probably just one right in the middle. And that'll give, that should give enough. That I'm definitely gonna have to redo, I bet. Try to make these pretty straight. And this kind of follows the highway, which I know isn't always the best thing, but in this case, oh, I don't want that. Let's build tracks. So this is gonna be need a little bit of right there. Might just need to finesse this one just a tad. Okay, nice. So then here, or this one I bet will go pretty straight. I don't think I'll have to do a whole lot there. Yep, nothing at all. So because we already have a crossover at that other point, we can just build one crossover here. I think that's going to be okay. Okay, so this will be our new route. Now, before we do that, let's take a look at our profit here. Just remember I did add more trains, so we did increase our costs a bit, but as long as our profits stay about the same, like daily, I think that's all we need to worry about at the moment. So we'll ultimately end up seeing what happens there. So I can probably, I'm gonna go ahead and build this, and this is gonna cost us 700 million. So definitely the most expensive. Jeez. Okay, I'm already at another one. Another capacity. I have 3 trains running. Do I need to put another train on there? Go 4 trains? Or do I just keep running it at capacity? Maybe I just wait and see like what happens here. Yeah, we might just wait and see. Because I think I definitely want to build this for now. So let's go ahead and let's go back. Let's build the blueprint. We don't have to start the train necessarily, but we'll at least get the route. Okay, so that should go in. So now if I think what I can do is, okay, so we'll go new route. This will be our secondary route, and I don't necessarily, sometimes I label these things, sometimes I don't. The thing is about this one though is because I don't think it's gonna connect, I might number this one. Like maybe I kind of go east-west are numbered routes, and then the other ones are colored route or lettered routes. Let's go green, or actually I don't know, let's go purple here. So let's create the route, and then similar to before, we need to do the stations. So if I do this, remember, so if you go both, they go both ways, then we'll end it there. So yep, so that'll go Pine Street with the connection to the A route, and then you've got that. So that's confirmed. Okay, so this stopped running by default, which makes sense. It does slow it down, so we'll speed this back up. Now, if we look at trains, I think I'm going to need to buy more, because that's 22 minutes. Any more outside of that. So maybe we just start with this and let's see what this does. We are in the middle of the night. Cars per train, I know you can adjust. Okay, so let's go back here. Let's look at our operating profit. Okay, so we have pretty high operating profit. That's really good. Let's go look at the hourly though, because we are gaining another. You can see how this already went negative with these new routes, which isn't necessarily the worst thing in the world. Especially if the route, once it starts to increase demand here, so you can already see it right there. Actually, it's people are moving. However, like this person, they kind of stopped. Oh, here, let's go faster that way. It moves it. Okay, so maybe that person got off then. Maybe that's why. Now, I'm going to be interested to see how this works in rush hour and how these trains kind of move around each other, because that's one thing we'll just need to keep an eye on here. Okay, so definitely less operating profit than we're kind of used to, especially because like 4 o'clock, it looks like it was at 1.3, so we'll see what happens next time. I wish this was like 25 hours, because what always happens is it falls off at the nearest one, and so you can't get to see like what it was related to. So we're starting, I know it's only 2 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, so still definitely lower. So we'll see what the 5 o'clock one is. Yeah, because that's 1.6. However, this is doing much better. So 4, we'll see what 4 does. If 4 can get higher than 5, I feel like that's good. Yeah, because we're already at, okay, I think I said 1.6 profit before, potentially, and we're already at $2 million per prop, like, at the 5 o'clock, at the 4 o'clock hour. So 6 will be our real test, because this is $2 million profit at 6 o'clock in the morning. So once this goes to 6, we'll see how this works. That's our 6 o'clock hour, obviously. Because you can definitely get this thing going pretty quick, especially with how concentrated San Francisco is. But it just takes a bit to grow your money sometimes. So, okay, so again, here's our 6 o'clock. Okay, so not so much above 2. And in fact, it's a little weird that the 4 o'clock is so much higher than this. So we might just need to wait to see what the daily does. But it kind of looks like, okay, so 5.6 is the most. I'd say during the middle of the day, it definitely lowers. So we can kind of see how this works. I mean, that 7 o'clock is a lot of profit. So we'll see how this kind of operates here. I do want to look at the trains, though, because a lot of these are doing pretty well. The A line, I think, is still demanding a little more, or the 1 line is still demanding a little more. Yeah, the 5. Okay, so that one, we did just get over capacity. We can see it right there. The 4 is also getting over capacity. So that's good to know. We're still... Okay. 8. Okay, that's much higher profit than we saw before. We were not even getting to 6. So this is definitely good. However... No, that is good. So we'll see what happens during the middle of the day. And of course, at the end of the day, we can go and figure that out. But let's go and let the day, let's get 3D here. Let's just kind of look at let's see if we can get flat enough. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so we got all the way on the peninsula. We do have a decent number here. So like I said, I think the next one I want to do is potentially coming up here, shooting down through downtown and then looping around, and that would be a very long line. So I know there's a ton of people not serviced over here, and a lot of people obviously down here, so we can go ahead and figure that out as well. I don't necessarily think I need to worry. I think we'll just start, yeah, I think we'll go there before I start expanding off. I could definitely start building down in here, but I think we'll just need to see what the profits continue to look like. So let's go, keep looking down here. Okay, so that's definitely 7, that's good. 5, that's 6. That was higher than the max we saw before, so it looks like we're still doing pretty well. And then let's go daily, and let's just look to see where we're at here. So we're still doing pretty good on day 6, and this is obviously still growing. I wish you could kind of see the time a little better once the finances are up. Okay, we do have pretty high demand on this train. I wonder if I need to build a few more. Although, well, it's 2 o'clock here. Let's look to see what happens here at Pine Street. Let's really slow this down. That's real time, so this is just slightly sped up. I want to see when these trains come in. Okay, so you can see a train coming in actually right here. Oh, there's a train leaving, okay. So I think the game automatically just like figures out where the trains exactly need to go. because like if you look at this, so here, let's turn off the, yeah, you see how it just like leaves there, and that's because of the route. So I want to look at population movements. Let's uncheck that really quick. Okay, so we can see a subway coming in from up here. Let's actually just make this one faster. Let's see if we can. Okay, yeah, so I think it does it pretty fast. So okay, so there's one coming in. I just kind of want to see how it operates in terms of purple. I think there's both sides. So like orange, it's on that side. Oh, I need to click that like 3 times now when it comes in. Okay, so is there a reason I can't? Okay, that's probably why. And then can I take off the, it's not the tracks I want the tracks, it's the route that I don't want. I think I want to just see what this does when this comes in. Okay, so that comes in on the left and then leaves as well. I think actually what I'd do, let's just track this train really quick and let's just like watch it as it comes in. Okay, so there's the very end. I'm just gonna go to Gregory. Okay, so this is like real time, I guess is how this would be. Okay, so Franklin. And then it's going to connect, and we're on the left side. Okay, so when it cuts over here, does it go to the right? Like, I'm a little interested to see. I hope everyone can see that. Okay, let's turn back on the routes. Let's see if that helps. Yeah, it does help a little bit. Okay, so if we play this, it's on the left. It does shoot over to the right. Yep. Okay, so then that would make sense. So then everyone basically has, and then it should continue on the right. Yeah, exactly. So that totally makes sense of how this works. Okay, cool. All right, so let's cut this back up. I do not need to follow this train anymore. That's going to make everyone dizzy, not busy. Let's go back to there. Let's zoom out. And then I think we could probably cut over back up here. Okay, so that's 1.6. So let's go again. Okay, I'm looking at already more operating profit, and it's only 4 in the afternoon, which is good. Okay, so this is one. That's again the A train. Do I need to bring more trains in there? Because that's an A train as well. Maybe I do need to. Or do I need to make the capacity bigger? Because what do I have in terms of trains? There's only 2. Okay, maybe I do need to buy more trains. So let's buy more. Let's make this 3. I might still keep that at low. Actually, I'll probably keep the medium frequency at 2 as well. And then maybe we'll see how this continues to go, because it is a fine line of, I mean, that's doing much, much better, but it is a fine line of once you increase, so like right now, see we increased that capacity there. But it did lower our profit, obviously, just because there's more trains running. But I do think some of it is just purely the demand as well. Like, I haven't quite figured out if it's better to go certain, like more trains on the track, or if it's better to go higher capacity. Okay, so now we're in the middle of the night, basically. Here, I wonder if I'm losing money. Doesn't look like I'm losing money. As long as that green bar is up above, it means I'm good, which actually is obviously, I mean, I'm barely making money there. In fact, right now I'm out of money. There, I'm making money. Yeah, and there's my purchase for all those trains. Okay, so let's just continue to watch this for just a bit longer. And let's turn back the population circles. I like looking at those. I know sometimes I think they slow the game down a decent amount, so it's a little bit tough sometimes. The game is like a little laggy. I don't know if that's my computer issue or if that's an issue with the actual game. I'm not entirely sure, but haven't quite figured it out. This game is still in the beta mode, if you will. I don't think it's like fully released on Steam or like full game until a little bit later. Maybe like later this year or early next year, like 2026. Now I don't know when I'm actually going to release this because these episodes are going to be very different than my Pokemon series just based on the type of game. Okay, so there's another one at or near capacity. It's at 3 a.m. Do I really need to run a second train? Maybe I do. Of course, I don't know how it determines when people go to work. Obviously, San Francisco is a huge city, so people are going to work at all times of the day, but it seems a little funky, I would imagine. Okay. So this one, so let's still... Oh, that's not what I wanted. Let's go back here. I still want to look at these profits. These profits are still looking pretty good. Now we're about to get into the high... Yeah, where we've got 3 trains running on each. So we'll see how that actually ends up working. This one just got a little high as well. The A-line, which the A-line always seems to get busy. Yeah, and there we go again. There's more. Okay. So, I think for now, though... Oh yeah, we're making a lot of money there. I'll definitely see. I think this might be lower at the end of the day, just based on the more expenses, but I don't think that's necessarily the worst thing in the world because this game does do a pretty good job of like changing some of the demand of it has to be around for a while. And actually, after this day 7, we're going to get a news article that's going to show us some things. And I think there's some insights that it gives us. I don't exactly remember, or if it's just kind of like, I don't know, AI generated computer stuff, but this is kind of the game, and I've really enjoyed it, and I know this is going to be very different than my Pokemon series. I don't know how long these episodes are going to be. There's probably going to be some time where I just purely watch the dots scroll, and I play some chill-ish music. Sorry for the views there. But it's going to be a little different, and if you guys like longer form content, then I think this will be for you. But I enjoy this game a lot. It's very relaxing and very fun just to see these things come through. So we'll probably stop here for, well, we'll let the day finish out for sure. And we're definitely going to want to see how much money we have. And I do want to get to, yeah, that's already, I can already see this is lower. I know are we at noon yet? Haven't had the rush. Okay, so it's 1 p.m. So we'll see what this ends up being. But I want to see the article for the first 7 days. And then next time, I do think we'll have to figure out where the next line wants to go. But we're kind of in this weird spot. If we can let it run and can see our dollars, we're still above half, but I don't want to get into the situation where I build too much, and then I'm basically just waiting for the money to come back because I can't build any more routes, which is kind of a tricky situation. So we'll let this run for the rest of the day, and I'll jump back in once that happens. Okay, so I'm jumping back in. It's almost midnight here, so let's go and see what our daily revenue is. It is a little bit lower. So at the end of the world, it's still higher than this other one. We'll probably keep it at that for just a bit. Oh, I was actually expecting a news article. Usually those show up on these the second days. So we'll actually probably wait and see what day 8 brings as well, if that's going to be consistent or if it continues to stay low. Because what we just don't want to see is decreasing value. So obviously we added more trains in here, so that would make sense as to why that's happening, but we just want to make sure that this is still higher up here. If you were watching, you probably also saw that there was a decent number of warnings we got, and actually that one's a little more negative. So we'll go ahead and wait and see what day 8 brings also, and I think, yeah, we'll wait and see what day 8 brings in terms of profit here. Alright, so it looks like it's 10:30 at night, so let's go ahead and check how the day went in terms of profit. Okay, so pretty consistent, which I'm okay if it's consistent. It was a little bit, I guess just a little bit higher, but that's okay. I still don't know if, I think we could probably keep it at that 86. So I think I need to stop here, but next time what we'll do, and maybe it'll be in the same episode, I don't know how long these are going to be. I think we will end up doing that connector route that's going to go in here. The other option that we could do is potentially, let's flip this back, but I guess I don't know what the other route is. We could do the connector down here. We could also add another line that goes into this area. I'm not sure entirely what the best way to do, and then we do need to figure out some of that profit, I think, a little bit more too. Like maybe we should mess with still the less trains and just doing less on particularly that one route. The A's obviously has a much higher route ridership. That makes sense. Let's look at station ridership though. Okay, so obviously Pine Street has the most. That totally makes sense. And then if we look at going home, there's obviously a lot down here that are going home, which that's good. That's what we want to see. Transfers. I wonder how many people. Oh, that's like. Oh, weird. Wonder how that works. If exactly. Weird. So maybe I do one that, again, does a little loop that comes down and hits this southern or this eastern side. Or maybe I follow this and continue to extend this line. I haven't quite figured out if it's better to go denser. I kind of think it is because there's probably a whole bunch of other people that can come in here that I still can operate on like similar lines, and this would be a very easy like area to do it. So I think that'll be for next time, or probably in the same episode. I don't know. All right, I kind of let this run a little bit. I haven't made any changes. You can see our money came all the way back. So let me show the daily. Also, since last time, there's been some improvements to just the update of the actual gameplay. So you can actually buy bonds now, which is interesting. So like, especially at the beginning, you don't have to let it run. But you can see our operating profit here has drastically improved. I think I've been letting this run for, oh gosh, I don't know how many days in the game. I kind of feel like it was either like day 6 that I cut out. So I've been running. So you can see the operating profit. We're actually back up over 3.1 billion, which is what you start with in the game. So today, what I want to do in this little time that we have is probably, I don't think I want to expand a new line. I did go ahead and do a little bit of kind of looking into the demand stats here. So we've seen this view before, but this shows all of kind of who's doing what. You can see this kind of purple area, and we do have some warnings here as well. It's the middle of rush hour in the morning. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. You can see it down here in the bottom left of our screen. But this purple right here, this is really showing that there's a good mix of people who are taking the transit to get downtown, and then like these people are walking or driving because they're unable to take a transit route. So that's kind of what these mean. And obviously around the routes or subway lines, we see a lot of purple, and then especially down here we see a lot of blues. This makes sense because there's a stop right here. But what I'd like to do, and I've kind of thought about this a little bit, is I'd like to build a line that comes down through here, cuts through here, gets over to this population of people, and then I think I'd like it for eventually to run all the way down here and get to the airport. Then, I mean, that's a long line. I think that's going to be probably multiple little sections here. And then I'd like to also build this one out eventually. And then I don't know if this one also probably cuts into the airport, like they both combine, and then maybe you make one that kind of like shoots in. But obviously we want to get one into down here into the lower, like San Francisco Bay Area. I don't know what cities are in there. That's without me. And then obviously we can get over here into Oakland as well. That would be awesome. I haven't even thought about the North Bay. I don't know enough about San Francisco. I think I've mentioned that a couple times, but for sure today what we definitely want to do is build at least partially down here to get our usership up, because if these people can start getting on the subway, that's great. And then that also helps alleviate some of the demand that we're having other places. So I think what we'll do is let's just go ahead and start by building another station on this Pine route. And they did also update the naming. I don't know if we're going to notice that now, but one other thing I'd like to do is also put 2 stations at least up here. That can be just kind of a mini extension, and then maybe that's the one that ultimately shoots up north. I haven't fully decided how we're going to do that. It might just end, but we'll definitely want to get more down here. So first thing that we should do is I think we just build the extension on here. That way if people needed to get to this, they could. And let's quickly look to see. I don't remember what we built this in turn. I think it was -5. So we'll build this station at -10, which is actually, oh no. Okay, it's -9. What I have to do, I'd like to have it. Okay, so if we build this. Okay, so that's working. So -9 is at least working, because if we go -10, it's going to be double the stations. Okay, so that'll be one station. Then I'll probably do another one. Okay, is this the ballpark right here? I always forget where I think that is the ballpark in real life. I'd like to, I don't want to put it too close, so maybe right here, and then we kind of like loop through here. These will be pretty close stations, but there's a loop, so it's not super terrible or anything. Okay, so we'll build that there. And then eventually we'll need to head south. So the question is, do we build another one here and then head south? And really, where do we go in terms of south? So let's go back to our demand stats. These people are running, so maybe we stay on. This is at least like a little, there's a little bit of blue there, so those people are walking. So I think we stay in between these two in terms of the stations that we do. So let's probably, I'll probably like wrap it, like the line will go here, and then maybe it turns, and then we just have another one just like right immediately here, potentially. It might be a little bit of kind of hootenanny going on. Maybe we go ahead and just build the tracks right now just to start. We can see how this is actually going to look. So definitely want that there. And then I think we could probably just pull this over. It's probably going to be okay, actually. Okay, so we'll need to make this a little bit more manual. Okay, so that's there, and then we'll dig this right there. Okay, nice. So before I forget, that's a pretty tight turn, but it's better to do it that way than worry about it. So let's build this crossover here, where we have that already in place. Okay, so now we're looking at straight routes. So if I'm thinking my station goes there, or like around here, maybe on, do I want to go all the way over? I don't think I want to go all the way over because I'd like to get it. Maybe I do want to go all the way over. I think this might be okay, and then I can kind of filter through there. So we'll kind of line it up with this road right here. So if we go here, maybe we start there, and then actually what I'm gonna do, let's just undo that right there. Let's just build it out right here. So let's actually start with this station again, and what did I say? Did I say that one or this one? I think I said this one. Although that one kind of lines up. This lines up with a better cross street though. Timing, so that's kind of the problem. Or do I come all the way over here? I don't think I do. I think I start it right here. This is probably okay to do. Okay, so now we just need to connect these things. So let's build tracks. And this will go here, I think here. I could probably just kind of want to make sure that this is straight enough. And then we'll cut this through a little bit like that. This will come through here. I'd like to make this a little straighter, so we got to kind of do that. Then we'll go straight. So this is going to be pretty finicky. We might need to be a little careful here about how we do this. Definitely don't want to. Yeah, it's a little just tight turn. And then it's, which route is it? Okay, so it's the next street, so we should probably be okay there. And then here we're already kind of curving over, so we'll get it to like that part of the track. And then there we could probably almost like immediately. Don't know if that's gonna cut in totally. Yeah, we might need to just keep it a little bit tighter here. It's gonna be the ugliest little curve, but it's kind of what we'll need to do. Okay, nice. So that gets us through there without any sort of construction or like demolishing buildings, which is what we need. So Now we need to think about where we want our next route to go, and to get all the way down here, shoot, I guess I did kind of pigeonhole myself. So maybe I actually do align it with the subway. Well, no, maybe I can put it over here. So we can build the tracks from here. I think we can go down basically, and then maybe we'll make a pretty tight turn around this as well, just to get us a little more facing this way, a little more east. And the only issue is this kind of cuts us. So maybe I follow this route. So maybe I go and let's build our station facing east-west here. Oh, okay, so that's not gonna work. So let's undo this. Oh wait, that one I actually wanted. That I want. We'll build the station right here. And then we'll build our tracks. Let's see if this works nicely. Not entirely, so build it up there. Through there. Okay, nice. So that's Texas Street, it looks like. And then we'll align this with this guy. So we'll build another station probably in this neighborhood. Let's just let's make it a little bit like that. We'll build this up here. This curve it's definitely not gonna like, so we gotta make it a little bit more, gotta shorten the curve a little bit before we can get too straight, because if you, the way the like game works is if you let it just kind of do its thing, it will automatically, I think it tries to like make it as fast as possible, and obviously what that does is makes it so you need to have certain types of curves in it. So we just need to pull this forward just a tad. And I think we'll be able to get around this building. Just got to be a little bit careful. Obviously this will slow us down because that brings us to only like 14 kilometers an hour. So let's see what we can do here. Will that just bring us straight there? It does. Nice. Alright, so then how is this looking then? I guess what are we looking at in terms of... Oh shoot, I accidentally just did that. Okay, so that's definitely... Okay, so that was like 500 million, it looks like. I actually meant to do check blueprints, but such is life. Okay, so I think what we'll do then is let's go ahead and build another station down here, and I think we'll keep it. Okay, so there's not a whole lot of people over here, so we'll keep it actually aligned with this kind of thing, and then we'll look at, yeah, we'll align it with this highway here, and then there might be like another one here, and then another one kind of down here once we get going. But I think the next, we could definitely do one right here would be good, I think. And then definitely one here as well. Of course, as I've said, I don't know what kind of industry or area or anything is in this part of San Francisco, but let's just purely focused on just this game. Okay, so like that one right there, that will go. This, we need to just kind of weave through here a tad. Should be okay. We'll go down here on Bayshore. I'll probably back this up a little bit to get this curve to work. So this follows Bayshore pretty well. Let's see how far over we can get it. And then I think it should snap into place pretty nicely there. No, it didn't. Okay, so we'll just get it right around this building, whatever that is. And that goes right there. Okay, so now let's go ahead and add this crossover here. Now let's build this blueprint. All right, so that was $300 million. So overall today we spent like 800 million. Now we need to get the route up and running. This is a huge route. Wow. Oh, this is like the biggest route we've done. Okay, so to get this route, we'll go here, and this will be the new route. And let's do this. Let's call this the, I don't know, the B route. Definitely the B route, because I think I'm going to keep like letters to east and west. So we'll do this, do the B route, and we now need to edit it. This is pretty simple. However, because it's so long, we're going to have to click both of these every single time. Okay, so right there, so that's going from Mission Street all the way to Sunnydale, which I believe is that one. So that's perfect. Now we need to add trains to it, and of course we need to buy more trains, because 34 minutes. Okay, definitely. I should buy a lot of trains. I feel like I just, every time I come here, let's just go ahead and buy 15 more. Yeah, so high, it's every... So let's do this. Every 11 minute frequency. That's still pretty low. Let's just like run it for now and let's see what it does here. And yeah, you can see it running. And we're at 3 p.m. So I think this is medium frequency. So yeah, you can actually see them like going back and forth. So there's probably going to be a little bit of a delay in terms of before we start realizing these profits. Obviously our operating cost is going to drastically increase. Well, actually, maybe not drastically, but it's definitely going to increase. You can already see it right there, the 4 o'clock hour, how much more it increased. So we might need to give it just a bit to see how good the returns are here. And obviously it's 4 p.m. on this route. So let's go back and look at this. And let's look at our warnings. Okay, so B's already at full capacity. So we probably need, which we've actually been, okay, so this is rush hour. It's 5 p.m., 5 in the evening. And probably part of the issue we're running into is just the curves that we have to do. One, we've seen a lot of. The B, we've also seen a decent amount of. Now, I wonder what. Okay, so when we look at the A, let's look at our routes again. I'm not changing anything super crazy. Okay, so that's 7-minute frequency in high demand is what I was looking at. And then the A is 8-minute frequency. I wonder if I need to increase that. I am getting just so many warnings. Now, I don't know if I can increase like the frequency, or I don't know if I can increase the train car, like, or the capacity is what I'm thinking about here. Because if we look at this, like there's this option here where you can change cars per train, but I don't think you can do that just in high demand or just in medium demand. Like I think it has to be pretty consistent across the board. Which makes sense, because once a train is like on the line, you probably aren't going to change that for anything. However, maybe once we get this going further down the line, we might change that. But we'll wait and see kind of what that ends up looking like. Okay, so that's this route. This is the ugliest route in terms of shape, but you got to think when you're looking underground on like an actual subway. I know the maps are pretty like cool looking, but and like curvatures and straight, but like when you actually look at it, like yeah, this is ugly, but seems to be working okay for me. So we'll let that run for a bit. We're already at 2 p.m. though. Let's look at these hourlies. Okay, we're doing really good. Of course, we would always gain money. It's really this like midnight time where we would lose a lot of money. Let's see what our daily operating profit is. Okay, that did increase. Obviously, the full day was not with that new line in there. So let's go back to hourly. See what this does. Of course, if it loses, yeah, I mean, that's at least positive. And look, you're gonna probably lose some money just throughout the course of operating, especially when on these low times, but I mean, yeah, you definitely don't want to lose money all the time, but I think once this is expanded, then we should be good. The other thing I've kind of thought about, well, I definitely at one point want to do something to connect all these. That's probably a little bit, I mean, that's definitely a little bit in the future, just because these things only connect here in Pine Street, which is okay. It's not the end of the world. Okay, yeah, we're actually still... Okay, this would be slightly negative, yeah, $38,000. 3,800, right? Yeah, 3.7. Okay, so we're at capacity on the one train, 5 in the morning. Oh, I guess there's only one train running. It's a shorter line, so that was kind of my rationale. Because if we go to the one route, the low frequency train every 22 minutes. So I think we might, let's just let this run for one day. And let's see what the daily ridership is. I might actually, the daily profit, it hasn't done a whole lot better, which is actually, it's okay as long as I'm like consistently, it's not going to be like exponential just because there's only so many routes you can do. But as this increases demand, I'm sure that there's some sort of functionality in here to actually increase. Oh, here's the Oracle Arena. Is that what that is? I think it might be. So maybe we do another offshoot at some point that cuts off of here. Maybe less of a commuter line. Like maybe we have one that shoots straight up through here that's like from the airport, and then we do a little offshoot here. We can play with that. That would be way later down the road. Yeah, we're at 6 a.m. We're looking at a whole bunch of train issues per usual with the A line. There always seems to be issues here. Yeah, you can see it right there. A-line train. It looks like the B line as well is having issues, or I did just see that warning right there. But it is the middle of rush hour. Okay. So I think then what we'll want to look at... Okay, so here's the airport. I'll need to think about the best way to do this. Because I wonder if what we'll do is... I'd like to pick up these people eventually. However, I think like getting the airport might be the best. So like if I went and I did just a straight station here, Because that's probably, you know, what this is going to look like. This station kind of serves these people. This station will kind of serve these people. We'll wrap around. Build another one. Kind of around here. Then do I want to go straight into the airport? Or would I want to... Let's look at the demand statistics. Is there no demand for the airport? I know they've built that in. Okay, there's definitely work demand. Which, duh, that makes sense. Obviously, no one's living at the airport. So that would at least do with some of that. This one, I know there's a whole bunch of underserviced people over here, but this might be where this route comes in. So if ultimately I wrap this down here, I don't know if it'll reconnect, but it might just be a kind of missed, like if it did that and then, I don't know, we'll have to see. That one probably will just do that, and then these people just would be underserved right now unless I built another route, but that can be a later issue. Let's go back and actually quickly look at how this is doing. Okay, so we're still definitely lower. Oh, it's only 1 p.m. It's not even noon yet. Okay, so that'll build there. Now the question becomes, and this is like, I don't know if the game is smart enough to know this, but if you build a subway station like in here, this would be like the end of the route, or do you build a small loop? And if so, I don't know if it will like let you. I mean, you could probably build the station here. Like in real life, there would be another like walkway or thing. So you're probably okay if you build one there. So that would be there. And then I wonder if what I do is I come kind of through here and build another one right there. So that would be my other routes. Let's build this then. So I'm coming down through here, and then maybe we line it up right here, and then it will come through here, and then we'll put this one just like straight down here. And then what we would do is at some point build it back out to get, yeah, these people are a little underserved, but I think for the sake of this, that's probably okay. Let's see what this does, how much buildings it has us destroying. Okay, so just the one. So I might just shoot this out right there, avoid the building, and then we'll just go straight into there. That should be fine. All right, now let's add crossover, because right now we need a crossover here just because there's going to be trains going in and out of it. Alright, so now let's connect these other two. I know this very quickly became an extremely long route, but I think that's probably how we have to do this, just based on the demand that we have. This one might be able to get just right through here. Okay, there's just a few that it doesn't like. So we'll just do that, and then that will get right there. Sweet. And then this one, come right through here. Okay, it doesn't like that, so let's build it close and then try to like wrap it around a bit. Oh, it didn't click for me. Okay, so now here I should be able to turn this. don't think it's going to do this pretty... Yeah, it's not. Okay. Let's make sure we're not breaking anything. Cool. That goes there. Sometimes it takes, sometimes it doesn't. Alright, so that goes there, and then this one should just be a pretty simple curve. And then for here, this is where I'm cutting in through some of these buildings, so I should just figure out which way I want to go. It's probably easiest to go this way. So what do we know? Yeah, so here. Okay. Might be easiest just to get... Yeah, maybe we follow this road. It's probably okay for now. Yeah, it's pretty straight. So let's get right there. And then this final one... Probably just curve right through these buildings. We'll see if it likes that. It doesn't. Okay. Sometimes you just gotta get like really close, and again, I know it like auto does it just based on how $730,000 just to destroy that building. So I think for there, that should serve the airport line pretty well. Now, if we look at the cost here, so that'll be 865 million. So that'll bring us down, I think, about where we ended the last time. And we only need one crossover at this point. So let's just build this. Nice. Okay, so now we're going to extend that route down there, and actually I should have looked before I did that. Our operating profit is up for the day. Looks like pretty well. And if we look at our all-time expenses, which I know we're not extended. Okay, so we're a little lower than where we ended it. Yeah, it looks like day 5 we were at 1.5 billion, whereas today we're at 1.4. So just a little bit lower, but obviously our costs are going to go up here. However, we do expect the revenue to increase too. So let's increase this. Okay, and then here, I think that's everything. Yeah, because we're ending down there and right there. Okay, so let's confirm the changes. Problem is, it's a 25-minute ride, and we're definitely going to need more cars here. So let's buy more. Of course, we're already buying more here. That's still 15 minutes. It's too low. 12 minutes is probably still too low. 10 minutes, that's probably okay. Medium, we can go there. We'll see how the 19-minute frequency works, but I think we'll start, we'll just start here. Okay, so it is 1 p.m. Okay, yeah, and you can see that subway line coming down there. It's coming all the way. Okay, so we're at every 19 minutes for low frequency. What are we on these other ones? I wish there was an easier way. Okay, so that's 22 minutes for the lower one, so 8, 8, and 12. So that one's actually pretty fast, but that one we kind of know about. Okay, so B, maybe I need to do a little more. 8, 8, and 12. That's 8, 8. Oh wait, that's the one I just did. 8, 8, and 12. Let's look at the one route. I'm looking here. So this is like 7 minutes, 11 minutes. Okay, so this low frequency is super low. But then if we look at our B route, which is by far our longest, it's 10 minutes, 12 minutes, and 19 minutes on the low frequency. I think this might be okay for now. we'll let this do its thing a bit. And obviously we're serving a whole bunch of other people down here. So we'll let this run. We'll let this run and we'll see how our operating costs change. And let's zoom in down here. A little laggy. Let's get this other view of just the, yeah, definitely laggy. Wonder how flat we can get. Actually, this is like the flat, so you can see all the way up here. We're going down. And there is the airport. I wonder if you can rename this. You can. Let's wait for my keyboard to connect again. Why? I realize you just don't have to really use your keyboard at all in this game. Come on. There we go. So, let's call it airport. Does this save it? Just automatically do it. Okay, nice. Okay, so we're in the middle of rush hour right now. We've got all of our cars in service right now. What are our hourly expenses? I'm really curious. Okay, I actually don't know when we kicked it in, but these all look positive, which is obviously what we want to see. So we'll wait. We'll at least get through a day or two here, I think, and then I'll probably, yeah, I'll let this run, and then we'll cut back in like right at the end of this day, and we'll just kind of see where we're at that point. Okay, so it looks like, so it's 6 a.m. We're about to run through rush hour here, but you can quickly see the increased profit. So we went to 114 million per day when we were hovering right around the 90s, it looks like, earlier. So obviously that route made a huge difference. However, it is going to just take a little bit just to increase back up to kind of where we were at before. So I think we'll yeah, and we already are running into issues again. This B route really has a lot. I wonder if I need to increase the cars. I don't know. I don't know if it's that big of a deal right now, because it is the middle of I mean, it's 9 in the morning, which is obviously the middle of rush hour. So having a route that's like that, I'm wondering too, I'm really just trying to think of like good ways to make this more robust. Obviously we can move this route out through here if we wanted to do that, which is a pretty easy way to extend, you know, like, okay, yeah, there's another one. So those are large. I kind of wonder if maybe I just need to keep increasing that one. It's kind of crazy. You can see it like all the way back there, the airport. And of course, if I got rid of the train list, we would be able to see it more. But I kind of like having the train list there because I get to see exactly what's going on. But obviously there's a whole bunch of underserved people here. I don't know how much though that's probably a little more marginal gain. And like for this one, like I could totally do something here and then cut in to this route that wouldn't hit the B line. So this would be like, I don't know, the B1 line or something like that. Or like the B2 that would then shoot over west. Other thing I could do quickly is like expand this market and go down here into something there. That does make that Pine Street station still super busy. So another option we could do is pull one over that's going like east-west through Guerrero Street, then up into downtown and have it as a separate station. That would be the other thing. Another easy thing we could do is definitely expand this B line just right over here. And then if we wanted to, like, we could do something to connect more north-south as well. But obviously this downtown is going to be the biggest route. So I think maybe next time, I mean, after we run this and just see how much more we're really getting, like, you know, consistently on a daily basis, like, it's a little difficult to tell what exactly we want to do and what we're going to be dealing with. I'd also like the ride stats to level out a bit, because if we flip this back and then go 2D again and then zoom out, and then let's get so pretty high level view here. Let's look at the demand stats. So we still have a lot of purple here, obviously a lot of blue kind of around our stations, more purple, which is good. These are all purple, but like these people, like, where are they? Yeah, some people are riding the train, but obviously it's a long walk, like, both ways. Although they're driving, so why aren't they taking the train? But if we go back, let's look at the demand stats again. I think this probably is okay. I don't know if I need to go too far down in here yet. I think what I'd like to start with is extending this orange, most likely, and then maybe trying to figure out one that can, I don't know, loop a little bit to try to get some of these other routes in here. But that's kind of the fun of this game, is you can go really kind of all over the place. You really get to have a fun time determining where you want to go.